Welcome back to Football Daily, where we're looking at 10 fan favourites who aren't quite as good on paper as you might be led to believe. Let's go. 10. Allan Saint-Maximin. In the years of Brucey Ball at Newcastle, Allan Saint-Maximin was a beacon of hope. Electric in possession, the Frenchman sparked St James's Park to life with his mazy dribbles and skill, and even in the past 12 months, he still ranks in the top 1 percentile of forwards in Europe for successful take-ons, while averaging 6.3 progressive carries per 90. The Frenchman is iconic. However, the reality is that any team looking to develop a holistic attack can't really accommodate a Saint-Maximin in their ranks. Defensively, the 25-year-old offers next to nothing. A pass completion rate of 70% is poor, as is the fact he miscontrols or loses possession nearly 6 times per 90. He may have contributed 10 goal involvements last season, more than any player at Newcastle, but it's telling that this term he's been a substitute more than a starter, with Eddie Howe preferring Almiron, Joelinton and even Willock going forwards. Callum Wilson is also a much more reliable source of goals, more than making up for his injuries last term. Saint-Maximin will always be a useful option off the bench, given his ability to terrorise defences. However, the stronger Newcastle get, the less likely you will see him in action. 9. Matty Cash. Everyone at Aston Villa has been rejoicing the arrival of Unai Emery. That is, everyone bar Matty Cash, who's gone from being Steven Gerrard's first choice at right back to a bench option in 2023. Cash did start the first 2 games under the new Spanish coach, but since the World Cup, the Polish international has mainly played second fiddle to Ashley Young, who at 37 years old should not be presenting much competition. That said, Cash did return to shine against Crystal Palace in Villa's recent win. But what issues might the former Villarreal boss have with the 25-year-old defender? For a start, Emery's 4-4-2 formation is less reliant on fullbacks providing width, especially compared to Gerrard's narrow 4-3-3. Instead, the Spaniard wants his fullbacks to focus on defending, and here Young has outshone Cash. From roughly the same minutes, the former Inter Milan star has a better tackle success rate against opposition dribblers than Cash, completes more blocks and clearances too. What's more, Young rarely loses possession and actually completes more key passes. None of this means that Cash is a bad player, he definitely isn't. This season though could just serve as a sharp reminder that he still has much to improve. 8. Ivan Perisić. Ivan Perisić looked like the perfect Antonio Conte signing at Tottenham. Aged but flush with experience and a CV glittering with multiple honours, the Croatian came equipped with the mentality Spurs need to end their trophy drought. And he has since become a regular fixture on the left of their back 5, featuring in all but one of the matches in the league this term. 5 assists is the most in the squad too, along with Dejan Kulusevski. Going forward, it's hard to fault the 34-year-old. However, defensively the stats suggest the former Bayern Munich and Inter Milan star is actually something of a liability. For starters, he is unsuccessful with over 50% of his attempted tackles against opposition dribblers, unacceptable for a fullback. 2.6 tackles and interceptions per 90 is low in general, while he's wasteful in possession, only completing 67% of his passes, again incredibly low. The eye test also confirms that Perisić is showing his age. What's more, in Tottenham's last 2 wins, Ben Davies has been moved to left back away from centre half. Should Conte decide this is best for the team going forward, then Perisic's cameo in the Premier League could be put on pause. 7. James-Ward Prowse. When it comes to free kicks, James-Ward Prowse is unrivaled. The gifted dead ball specialist is on course to overtake Beckham's record of 18 direct free kicks in the Premier League, and has already scored 3 from 10 attempted this term alone. But do his free kicks mask other flaws in his game? Obviously, he's not one-dimensional. You don't earn 11 caps for England and play over 300 top-flight matches otherwise. However, his stats do suggest he's far from the complete midfielder. Over the past 12 months, his defensive work rate has been fairly poor. 4.2 tackles, blocks, interceptions and clearances per 90 is low for a player who operates in front of the defence. And his passing isn't particularly accurate either, finding a man just 76% of the time, while he is only attempting a progressive carry every other game. 5.6 progressive passes per 90 is better, but that is nothing special compared to other players in his same position across Europe. In short, Ward-Prowse struggles to break the lines or relieve pressure on the defence. He is still an excellent leader, and Southampton's survival may depend on his experience and desire, just don't be too fooled by those magical free kicks. 6. Marcos Llorente. When Atletico Madrid won La Liga in 2020-21, everyone got extremely excited about Marcos Llorente. From almost nowhere, the Spaniard exploded into one of the most prolific midfielders in Spain, scoring 12 and assisting 11 across the campaign. Previously, he'd only managed 8 La Liga goal involvements in his entire career, yet suddenly he looked born to play in attack. But take a closer look at his stats and a different story becomes clear. He outperformed his expected goals and assists in 2020-21 by almost 12, half his entire output, fueled by an impressive but unsustainable conversion rate of 1 goal every 4 shots. Sure enough, Llorente has since lost his scoring touch. In the past 18 months, he's only scored once in the league despite taking 30 shots across that period. In the 28-year-old's defence, he often plays at right back, but his 2.9 tackles and interceptions per 90 are nothing to write home about, while his touches in the attacking third are actually higher this season than they were in 2020-21. Llorente is an excellent squad player, but his ceiling goes no higher than that. 5. Alexis McAllister. The inclusion of Alexis McAllister is not meant to detract from his stunning World Cup achievements in Qatar with Argentina. It's just telling that while Enzo Fernandez earned a monstrous transfer to Chelsea, speculation over McAllister's future has been quiet. It's actually very hard to criticise the 24-year-old at all. He's very comfortable on the ball, completing 89% of his passes, plus he has the confidence and technical ability to dribble past his man. His contribution of 6 goals this season, however, is misleading. Only 1 has come from open play and 4 were penalties. And then there's his defensive work, which also looks inflated. When it comes to tackling, McAllister is great. He currently averages around 2.6 per 90 and that tenacity is plain to see on the pitch. However, his positioning does need improving, as seen by the fact he manages less than 2 blocks and interceptions a game, low figures for a deep line midfielder. Roughly 50% of dribblers faced are getting past him too, owing to being caught out of position. Once again, Brighton are lucky to have McAllister. We just think keeping him at the Amex won't be as hard as they found as with their previous big name stars. 4. Dean Henderson. Dean Henderson is a very confident young man. From the age of 16, he has touted his destiny as England and Manchester United's #1, which to his credit at one point looked on the cards. Coming off the back of a stunning loan spell with Sheffield United in 2020, Henderson earned a new contract worth £100,000 a week at Old Trafford, all at a time when David De Gea's credentials were being called into question. Today, however, there is little debate as to which keeper is better, as while De Gea has rediscovered his very best, Henderson is facing a reality check at Nottingham Forest. On loan with the promoted outfit this term, Henderson's ability has been called into question. He has conceded 1.7 goals per game, while a save rate of 66% is average. There are plenty of positives to highlight. He is comfortable with the ball of his feet, quick off the line and commanding in the air, plucking out an impressive 7% of crosses faced. But with a post-shot XG suggesting he is guilty of conceding 4.1 goals more than expected already, his arrogance may be slightly displaced. In short, the 25-year-old has much to improve before he can really consider himself among England's finest. 3. Antonio Rüdiger. Oh, how Chelsea are missing Antonio Rüdiger right now. And the German might be pining for them too, as life at Real Madrid hasn't been so simple for the 29-year-old. Although he has become a starter in recent months, Carlo Ancelotti was initially reluctant to give Rüdiger the nod over Eder Militao or David Alaba at centre-half. And when he does play, Rüdiger looks much different from the player Los Blancos plucked away from Chelsea. Rüdiger's tackles and interceptions have almost halved on his time in London, despite the fact he's pushing forward less than ever before. This might be what you'd expect, given Real Madrid are more dominant in La Liga than the Blues are in England, but the Spanish Giants actually face more shots on average than Chelsea did last term, while they experience the same amount of average pressure in their own third. What's more, Alaba and Militao both complete more tackles and interceptions than the German, with Militao dominating him for defensive actions in general. Make no mistake, he is an excellent player for Madrid, just not the undisputed first choice many expected him to become. 2. Ederson. For years, the Alisson or Ederson debate has raged in the Premier League, providing an excellent sub-narrative to the Liverpool versus Manchester City power struggle. But City fans, we are sorry to say the argument is over, as while Alisson continues to shine among the finest goalkeepers in the world, Ederson has been left behind. For a start, this season the save rate of the Sky Blue stopper has fallen to a horrific 62.1%. That's worse than Leicester City's much maligned Danny Ward, and just above Gavin Bazunu and Mark Travers in the entire Premier League. And although the defensive line at the Etihad has constantly changed, Ederson's clean sheet rate has fallen from 54% to 32% this term. This is partly his fault. According to post-shot XG, Ederson is guilty of conceding 4.6 goals more than expected, making this the second season in a row he's put up a negative return. He also continues to make errors that lead to an opponent's shot, now on 20 in a City shirt, yet this is inevitable due to his high-risk passing out from the back. We may never see a keeper more gifted with the ball at his feet than Ederson, but as a pure shot stopper, there have certainly been better. 1. Dušan Vlahović. On the recommendation of Patrick van Straten, next up we have Dušan Vlahović. To be clear, the Serbian is an excellent forward. 24 goals for Juventus and Fiorentina in Serie A last season, plus 8 more for the old lady this term supports that fact. Our issue is Vlahović being valued at 80 million euros. That's the fee Juventus paid to prize the Serbian out of Fiorentina, while Transfermarkt and the Football Observatory both continue to put him in that price bracket. By that measure, he is among the game's elite, but the stats don't support that idea. His rate of 0.14 goals per shot is nothing special, and neither is the fact only 36.5% of his efforts even test the keeper. He only wins around 40% of the aerial duels he contests, low for a physical 6'3" forward, while he rarely beats his man in a foot race and miscontrols the ball almost 4 times a match. Of course, the 23-year-old possesses plenty of other qualities and can be a predator in the box. But if Vlahović really wants to be considered among the Kanes, Benzemas or even Osimhens of today, he must get better. So that was our look at 10 players the stats hate, but what do you make of our choices? Let us know in the comments down below. It's a controversial one, I'll admit that. If you haven't already, like the video and subscribe to Football Daily so you never miss one of our videos. See you next time, bye bye.